Well, hey everybody, this is Rod with VPT Live. This is the Trade Journal Screencast. Today's Friday, April 10th, 2015. Let's give you a little webcam action. Come on over here. Bam. There we go. So again, Trade Journal Screencast. It's April 10th, 2015. It's for Friday, so I'm going to make this pretty quick. A couple things I want to cover tonight. I want to introduce BOTS, Binary Option Trading System. So for those of you who've been following along with VPT and specifically me and my options trading for a while, you know that I've been kind of anti-binary for quite a while. Here in the U.S., they only have a firm called Nadex, and I think their products are kind of hokey because they're not allowed to really use the actual futures, so they create these synthetic products, and the markets are kind of thin. And then over there in Europe, you're dealing with net teller and credit cards and who knows. All that being said, I finally bit the bullet, decided to get a little, invest some money in some of the binary options, the bigger ones over in Europe, begin to learn how they work, especially since now they have stocks, they have futures. They've always had currencies and commodities over there. I'm not as much of a Forex trader as some other people on our desk, so the Forex stuff didn't interest me as much. But now with stocks, we have a lot of systems here where we have an edge, and in binary options, since it is binary, you just have to be right by 1 penny above or below put or call. We're starting to work, and we're testing what we're calling our bot. Now, very clever, right? Binary option trading system. So let me show you that real quick, just a couple screenshots. If we go over to TweetDeck today, here's what I had tweeted out a couple of our positions today. We were short the Dow Jones via put, Alibaba via call, and Amazon. This was just a screenshot. These all did expire profitably. In fact, we took 9 trades today, and 8 of them happened to be winners. And so far, we are seeing a 77% win rate, which with binary options, maybe it's just beginner's luck. No, it's not. We got some skills. If this works out, we're going to be pretty excited about the potential. Now, this is not going to be a full automated bot or anything like that. It's just software that's going to give us signals for high probability setups that we can express, not only in the regular options markets here, but potentially in the binary options markets. And a couple of advantages with binary options. One is that there's no day trader margin requirements with those brokers over there, so you can start with $100 or $500 and you can bet. Now with some of the stocks, the minimum investment is $25 per binary option, not like $5 or $10 like you hear, but compared to $25,000, which is what you'll need to day trade regular options, buy and sell options on more than 3 trades in 5 consecutive days, you're going to have a day trader margin. It's also a really good way to learn directional options as a start, just to get the concept about how those sort of work. So keep a lookout for bots on this Trade Journal Screencast. I just want to sort of highlight that. Now let's get back to kind of what happened during the day and a little quick overview of the week. So General Electric decided to buy back $50 billion worth of stock. So I don't really have strong opinions on that versus other. I don't have opinions on these kinds of fundamental things at all. What it did to the stock is it was up about 9%. The Dow Jones is a price-weighted index, so it didn't really affect it that much. But we did see the Dow back over 18,000 today. We had some round numbers everywhere. You got the NASDAQ comp close to 5,000. It might have gotten over it. I don't know. I only watched the NDX. Then you have the Dow over 18,000. You have the S&P cash at 2,100. So we have this kind of round numbers. The other number that we lost was lucky or unlucky number 13. And I talked this week. I've done some extensive videos about the XIV, so I won't spend too much time on it other than to show you right here. Here it is. So this is the XIV, this level over here of 40.5. I think it absolutely wants it. Now whether it gets back up to 45 and we see volatility actually put on an 11 handle, I don't know. But I'm very happy being short this for a prolonged period of time. I think the risk reward really lines up very well, although it's been a bit of a pain trade. It was up 5% today and we're short this XIV. We use the XIV as the way to play volatility. I'd much rather be short this than buying that, right? In fact, I talked today about a possible 1x2 for those that are more familiar with pairs types tradings. I like the concept of long SPX options or long the S&P futures against being short XIV and short VXX almost on a 1x2 basis. So there you go on that. Now let's take a quick look at Amazon as well, because we had a nice conditional fire off today. We're doing a lot more of these conditionals, so that was also a theme for the week this week. Conditional orders, quote triggers, whatever you want to call them, where when one condition is hit, then you can buy that, or you can think of it kind of just a limit order, but instead of buying the actual instrument, you're buying something else, a derivative. In this case, it's an option. So we picked a spot of 385 and 386 on Amazon here. You can see that we didn't get too creative here. It was just these consolidation top that we've had from just back in February. And right at that level was where we bought the 385 puts. We got them at market, and we did pretty well. We picked them up at $5, and then again at $4.50 in different accounts. We targeted 385 and 386, and we were able to sell those for $5.50, $5.75 by the end of the day. And I think we just held one particular runner. So these conditional is really working out for us. So we're really talking about putting these orders in and just being patient, because as active day traders, too often we just want to trade. It's very difficult to sit on our hands. So this kind of feels like trading in the sense that we're putting in all of our orders. They don't all get filled, but we are putting in our orders, and when they do get filled, more often than not, we're picking, or the market is selecting for us very advantageous prices on the derivative that we get into. So that was a little bit about Amazon. If we just take a look at what happened for April so far, it's only been 7 trading days in April. I think we're up about $4,000 on a percentage basis. This is about a $75,000 of invested capital. This is net of all open and closed positions, and we are holding about $1,500 in open losses on some of the futures that we took in over the weekend. We shorted right into the close. So hopefully we don't have a big spike up on Sunday night or Monday. We'll see what happens. Let's see if there's anything else in the trade journal that I wanted to cover here on a Friday. I'll do a separate video for Apple Day Options for you options traders in the Apple Day Options program. Yeah, DAX also, Europe back above 12,500. I think the DAX closed at, no, didn't quite make it there. 12,422 is where DAX closed. And then we've seen some strengths back in some of the Momo stocks, like your Netflix and your price lines. And gold was back above 1,200. Let's go over to Estimize /calendar, because next week is when the earnings really kick into gear. Now, we don't do a whole lot of earnings plays here at VPT. We're still working with our community on just getting comfortable with directionals. A lot of options trading is newer to a lot of our members because we started our foundations kind of as a futures room, and we've moved into these other instruments. So we're bringing people along, and we're not really doing some of the more advanced techniques that I think are necessary for playing earnings. So we keep them pretty simple and directional, or we just trade the stock after the earnings once it's sort of showed its hand, if you will. But we like this resource here, Estimize, Tuesday, April 14th, which is next Tuesday. The room's closed on Monday. You can see we kick off with the banks here. We have JP Morgan, Wells Fargo. I think Bank of America is there on Wednesday. You can see Intel, CVX. So we're really getting into the meat of it here. And we like this Estimize /calendar. There's plenty of places where you can see what's going on with both economic news as well as these earnings releases. But we like this one. It's a nice consolidated. And you can see over here they give you some of the most notable ones and the date in which they're actually going to report earnings. You can also see that on the chart too. They do a good job here over at TradingView. You can see there's these little E's, and it tells you that Amazon's reporting earnings on the 23rd. So we'll see what holds for next week, and I think we can leave it there for now. This is Rod with VPT, reminding you to always trade like you mean it. Have a super weekend, VPTers. We'll see you back in the room on Tuesday. On Sunday night, I'll have Glip open, and you can trade along with me on Monday if you're so inclined via Glip. Thanks a lot.